Sometimes I wonder if anyone understands what my channel is really about. I've got things on here like spiritual lessons and content, taking your power back and using your intuition, angels and demons, how to raise your vibration, manifestation, and plant medicine. Most notably and controversially, mystic conversations with awakening stoners. In this video, I'm going to link them all together so you'll understand where I'm coming from and why I do what I do. So let's get into it. I'm scrubbing out today, so I'm working on some renovations in my house. So sorry, you can't always have me at my best, even though I did do my hair. So, what wonderful hair. I'm really trying to get it to go gray. Anywho, I usually listen to meditations and try to zen out when I'm doing my housework, but I also listen to audiobooks, and sometimes I like to listen to interviews and do almost do research while I do my thing. Then I come back to write a few things down so that I can look so that I can talk to you about it later on my channel. When I first started with this channel, it was meant to be that I just wanted to help people stop being afraid to use their spiritual intuition and to tap back into their pineal gland and really awakening the God spark within us all so that we could all come back together as fully conscious beings. Then I started to notice that so many people didn't know why our pineal glands were suppressed in the first place. So to understand that, we need to know the darkness to see the light. That's the way it works. So God is source energy, the Alpha and the Omega, which we are all a part of, and we have to wake up because we were sleeping beings, meaning there was a light side. It's not all ribbons and rainbows, and then there's a dark side. I'm reading some of this, as you can clearly see, because I needed to get my shit together. So I wrote it down because, you know, I go off on tangents, everybody knows that, so here we go. We all have to know the darkness to see the light. That's the way it works. So God is source energy, the Alpha and the Omega, of which we are all a part of, and we have to wake up as we are sleeping beings. Meaning there is a light side, and it's not all ribbons and rainbows, and then there's a dark side. And all of us have it within us, and it shows on many dimensions, meaning the three-dimensional, where we're at, and higher realms into like 5D and 4D is time and space, and then 5D and above. There's reasons, and they're not always, even though they sometimes seem like they're bad, they're not always necessarily bad. Some of it is for us to try to learn, so that's a good thing. But it sucks to go through it, but we are definitely going through it at this point in time. So anyways, when I speak about waking up, most people envision this hippie state where everyone is hugging trees and we're all love and light. But in order to understand who we are in the God self, we also need to see that we are everything. So that there's a dark side to it, and we have to see that within ourselves as well. I suppose being a Scorpio, I like to know why and how and jump into all the darkness because we are also a part of that. So if we didn't know the dark, then we wouldn't understand the light. We wouldn't appreciate the light. So this is why source energy broke apart to begin with. We wanted to understand who we were as spiritual beings. We are not a body. We are a spiritual being having a physical experience to remember who we are, to wake up. That's the whole point. But to wake up from what? That dark side that I'm talking about, all this horrible stuff that's happening on the planet, we need to wake up from. We need to see that dark side in order to ascend and to get that balance back. So the shadow side of humanity and even spirituality. Once we see both sides, we become whole. I wonder if that's what enlightenment really is, in all honesty. I don't know because I'm not enlightened yet. I would love to be, and so I'm eager to learn more and more each day that I'm breathing on this planet to know the I am presence and who that really is. The good, the bad, and the ugly. That is wholeness. Anyway, I digress, so let's get back into the other parts of it. As a medium, I wanted you all to see that you are also all mediums. That means that you are a channel between all of these worlds because you are part of Source. We all need to stop being afraid of our power because we're put in fear, which is false evidence appearing real, and that is what's holding us vibrationally into lower frequencies, which are lower realms of reality. We are more powerful than we know, but we need to wake up and remind ourselves of who we are and take our power back to raise up into the higher realms again and enjoy the whole picture of our creation. We agreed to forget who we were and our power, forget our power, and when we came to this planet, we got caught up in the webs of karma, which is really just ourselves judging our avatars, basically, and then throwing ourselves back into another body to fix it because we didn't like how we used our power in the last lifetime. And then the cycle continues. It's almost like a video game where our avatar needs to do a job or to understand who we are and become whole, but then we're being attacked at every angle when we get back into the game. So we forget why we're here because we're met by demonic beings, which are technically still a part of us if you look on the higher spectrum of that, the higher frequency. And they throw us all off track and take our power until it's so low that we die and we have to create a new avatar just to get back in and do it all over again. That's the karmic cycle. It's exhausting. But it's time to wake up in the game or in the dream to remember who we are, to defeat the darkness and achieve our goal of taking back our power and creating a new world with higher frequencies and letting go of the lower level forgetfulness to become whole and become one again. As creators, we're attacked for our unique gifts such as our spiritual ability, our ability to create and tap into the creative power, and they want to use it for themselves. The darkness wants to use it for themselves. This manifested energy is used against us at the same time as putting us back into a trance or a deep sleep by not allowing us to see the truth. So this is where the rest of the craziness comes into play. So hold on to your shorts. Demonic or lower level entities are very real. We've talked about this in other videos, so for those of you that have been with me on this YouTube journey, it's not a shock. And for those of you that haven't, here you go. We talk about angels and demons as they are flesh and blood because they are. They're also in the higher realms just as we are multidimensional. They may be called by different names, but they are 100% real and they've been on this planet with us from the beginning. There are different bloodlines, and some of the elite families, or the ones that kind of rule things, believe that they are part of a hierarchy that is above human. Therefore, they have used us for energy by keeping us in fear to rule over what they think are they think we're lower level beings, and they've ruled over us for centuries. But it's in the cards and the sacred ancient writings, from tribes to prophecies, that balance is in order, and that we're in the process of taking our power back as we are waking up the Kundalini energy or the Christ consciousness within. There are many names for it, but the Great Awakening is happening globally as we realize that these elites or demons or non-humans have ruled us via monetary systems, media, medical systems. Our air, our food and water have been poisoned to calcify the third eye, which is our connection to our higher consciousness and the God self. The education system that we are all allowed, or we are, I guess they control what we are allowed to know, and the indoctrination of our minds. And it's in politics, it's in Hollywood, and the biggest one that they're trying to control is our children. So about a year ago, we all saw all this where are the children type things, and then the media just kind of cut it off, and now it's not very prominent. But everybody knows, everybody is waking up, and we're all starting to realize that this craziness with our children being missing all over the place, there's higher beings, or I shouldn't, higher beings, more conscious beings that know where our children are, and that this is like this crazy power struggle, and it's kind of creepy, but it's exciting to know that people are waking up and figuring these things out. Sometimes looking into our shadows of these systems is necessary, and it's not the most enlightening part of this lifetime that we're experiencing, but it's definitely something that we need to see in order to take our power back and restore a new golden age. Now, I'm not sure that some of you, now I'm sure that some of you are wondering what in the world I'm talking about, and you're probably saying to yourself that there's the weed part, that I smoke too much weed because of my other series. But raising vibration and realizing who we are and what's happening on our planet can also be brought on by things like meditation or going within to find that link to source energy and connect with it once again. It's been widely known in many cultures that plant medicine can help trigger seeing the shadow sides, as well as diving into the truth of the reality and to heal the individual. Of course, with most plant medicines, I don't encourage people to run out and just do these spiritual ceremonies without a shaman or a very well-known and respected guide that has been taught the ways of the plant medicine to watch your back, so to speak. I'm an advocate for research and for the wisdom of the elders with these types of things. So medical cannabis has been widely used for centuries as a healing plant and as a gateway, not to other drugs as the media wants to portray to you, but a gateway into healing yourself and meditation, and also to wean you off the pharmaceutical drugs that the medical system has grandly inflated to attack our delicate systems and has actually increased or created more damage than good in many cases, but not all. So there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place for medical systems. But I believe that we need to, I believe that we have been attacked in spiritual and physical form. I believe that we are in a time of awakening to remember who we are, to stand up to these elites, or as you now understand them to be, as demons. We also have angels on our side that are helping us, by the way. There's a yin and a yang, as I have stated, but in the conversations that I've had with my crew in the other side, as I like to call them, I learned so much about who I am and what I'm here to do. And it's my honor and my joy in this lifetime to help you raise your vibration and consciousness and find your connection with your higher self and source energy, and remember that you are God. Meaning you have the power to and the authority to help stop the darkness. That means that we have to look at the ugly side of things. We need to realize that this is why the media has blown up the negativity and has kept us in fear states. This is the state of fight or flight. It's the state of high energy that they can take us, or they could take within us to create what they want in this world and use it against us. We're not able to use our higher consciousness during fight or flight. So it's high energy but low cognitive mindset when we're in fight or flight. It's kind of like the movie Monsters, Inc., if you think of it that way. We're being used, my beautiful crew. It's time to wake up and stop this. But we have to see it first. It's sometimes unbelievable, I know. People can laugh it all off and try to say things that this is all insane. But when you're alone, you have to meditate on it. You got to dig deep and ask your higher being if this is what's really happening. I think you may find that your gut or your intuition will kick in and let you know that it's time to wake up and move this planet into higher frequencies, which is what people are calling the fifth dimension, or moving from the 3D perspective into a 5D perspective, or even higher. It's realizing that we are creative beings, and we are creators, and we have been used to anchor the 3D, which is full of pain and fear. And you can see this in the media, Hollywood especially, and in political arenas. Watch their eyes, and you can see that their biggest threat is us. It's us waking up and coming together. That's why they're trying everything they've got to keep us in fear and to separate us by creating problems that divide humanity. Race wars, climate wars, medical jab wars, mask wars. They do this by saying things that are so scary, and you should be afraid of each other, be afraid to talk to one another, and afraid to touch and embrace one another. You take out the love and replace it with fear. That's what they're doing, divide and conquer. That's been the way that wars have been won in the past many, many times. And let me tell you, my crew, the history that we've been told is not the correct history. The Vatican has libraries of ancient books, and the elites have managed to or what the educational systems, what they're allowed to know and what they're allowed to have. Even our science is told to us in a way that we don't understand what is really happening. They're playing God themselves. Do you remember them coming out and saying a while back, well, God, I think it was like when I was a kid, that they had cloned animals? Do you really think that that's the only thing that they have cloned? They haven't cloned people yet? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that they have. And then, you know, that goes into this whole CERN thing where they're trying to separate the God particle. It gets a little creepy, and they're playing God. You don't even know, you don't think they know by now what they haven't, that they haven't told us certain things. We have to get real. Atlantis fell because they were playing God, and we are the new Atlantis. So you got to quit telling me, I love you all, but people have got to quit telling me that you've done your research on things like the jab. And if you haven't figured it out by now, you are the research. You are the research. That's why there is no research on it. You are the research. They're changing our DNA. So I know that many of you think this is this great scientific achievement, that we can do so many good things, but they keep us in fear and use our spirituality against us. Do you really think, or do you really have that much faith in a system that uses money to keep us in slavery? I know that we're far from that at the moment, but we shouldn't be even a planet that's using monetary systems. Other planets and dimensions are laughing at how we think we're so advanced, and certain elites are using it against us. They have technology that we can't even dream up of yet, and they're all lying to us. So we have to wake up, and when we do that, how we do that is by our diets, our meditations, connecting with source energy, remembering who we are, and coming together, helping each other do research. We're on the verge of becoming a Type 1 society, which means that we're going to finally become a part of a galactic system, but we won't be allowed until we stop allowing ourselves to be controlled by lower level entities. We're allowing them to take our children and to use them for demonic rituals. We're also allowing them to possess our people. It's time to step up and stop showing them our fear and start showing them our power. And we do that together. You are a part of source energy. It's time to wake up the gods. The elites are very afraid of that. There are more of us than there are of them. It's time to stand up together. So much love and light. I'm excited for the next couple of weeks where I will do some more interviews on my Mystic Conversations with Awakening Stoners. I've got some good ones lined up for you. I'm learning as we go along, so don't think that I think that I know all, because that's so not true. I'm simply using my mediumship to guide me to the people that can teach us more. And then that helps us to grow and wake up our amazing level of higher consciousness. And we're all doing that together. So welcome to your Ascension creators. I'll see you in the next video.